Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a moment and really think about what the word benefit means in business. It's not just about the revenue, it's not just about the profit margin, it's about the why behind everything you're building. When your business is designed around clear benefits for your clients, your team, and your future, you unlock a level of momentum most people only dream about. See, we often get stuck chasing goals without asking, what are the real benefits of what I'm building? If you don't know your benefits, your business becomes busy work, but when you define them, when you lead with them, you create clarity, and clarity creates speed. A business built on benefits understands its value. It knows that if the team is aligned, trained, and empowered, productivity skyrockets. You don't just get tasks done, you solve problems faster, you serve better, you attract loyalty, your employees don't just show up, they contribute. That is a benefit that fuels exponential growth, and here's the deal, your customers, they don't buy your product, they buy the benefit they believe your product or service brings into their lives. That's the business advantage too many leaders miss. If you communicate benefits well, your competition doesn't stand a chance, because you're not selling features, you're selling results, emotion, impact, ease, confidence. But here's the real truth. Business benefits grow only when your systems support your people. A chaotic business cannot scale, no matter how powerful the product. When you bring structure, you bring order. When you bring order, your benefits multiply. You stop reacting and start scaling. You stop doubting and start leading. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to grow a strong business, don't just build for today. Build for the benefit that lasts. Align your people. Clarify your vision, and never forget, real business benefits are earned through intentional leadership, not accidental success. Clarity creates speed. Define the benefits that matter most. It sounds simple, yet it's one of the most misunderstood truths in business. When we talk about clarity, we're not just talking about goals or vision boards or mission statements that sit on a wall collecting dust. We're talking about a focused commitment to identifying and communicating what really matters, the tangible, measurable benefits that your business offers and the impact those benefits have. Because when every person on your team knows exactly what the business is driving toward, how it serves, and why that matters, you move faster, not because you're working harder, but because you're working smarter. In too many businesses, there's a lack of clarity at the top. Founders know they want success, growth, profit, impact, but they haven't taken the time to define what that looks like in terms of benefit. If your version of success is vague, your strategies will be vague, your execution will be inconsistent, and your team will be guessing what matters, guessing what their priorities are, guessing how to win. When your team is guessing, you slow down. When your customers are confused about what benefit you provide, they hesitate to buy. When your processes aren't anchored to outcomes, they drag. Confusion is a silent killer. Clarity, by contrast, is a catalyst. Defining the benefits that matter most starts with you as the leader. Ask yourself, what are we really here to do? What change do we create? What specific benefits does our product or service provide? Not features, benefits. The distinction matters. A feature is 24/7 customer support. A benefit is you'll never feel stranded again. A feature is custom coaching sessions. A benefit is you'll finally have a strategy you trust. When you define benefits, you start speaking the language of outcomes. You align your value proposition with what your audience actually wants. That's the secret to momentum. But defining benefits isn't just an external exercise. It's internal. Your team needs clarity just as much as your customers do. Think about it. If your employees don't know what the benefit of their role is, not just their task list, but the outcome they're responsible for, they will waste time. They will duplicate efforts. They will burn energy on the wrong things. Clarity eliminates friction. It removes the invisible barriers that keep people from performing at their best. And when people have clarity, they show up with confidence. That confidence compounds into trust, speed, and results. In organizations that lack clarity, we see a constant drift. Projects start and stop. Priorities shift without explanation. Strategies change not because they're agile, but because they're unclear. Teams get frustrated and top performers leave. Why? Because ambiguity breeds anxiety. People don't leave great companies, they leave confused leadership, and that confusion always traces back to a lack of defined benefits. When you haven't clearly articulated why your business matters, what impact it creates, then people begin to wonder if their work even matters at all. That's when culture erodes. On the flip side, when you define the benefits that matter most, everything accelerates. Your meetings are more productive, your messaging is tighter, your team can make decisions without second guessing. They don't need to be micromanaged because they understand the why behind what they do. Customers respond faster, referrals increase. Your sales team isn't just selling products, they are evangelizing outcomes. Your marketers aren't just creating content, they're building connection. Your support team isn't just answering questions, they're delivering peace of mind. That's the power of benefit-driven clarity. This isn't just about being organized, it's about being intentional. It's about removing the noise, the fluff, the distractions that slow businesses down and replacing them with focus. When you're clear, you say no more confidently, you invest resources more wisely, you hire more strategically, you don't chase every trend or follow every competitor, you stay anchored to your purpose. That's what allows businesses to move fast without burning out. Speed without clarity is chaos, but clarity produces the right kind of speed, aligned, focused, and sustainable. And here's the beautiful part, clarity is contagious. When you model it, your team mirrors it. When they mirror it, they bring it into every customer interaction, every email, every pitch, every deliverable. That energy becomes culture. That culture becomes a brand. And that brand becomes a magnet for more of the right people. Clients, partners, talent, and opportunity. All of it begins when you define the benefits that truly matter. Not the ones that sound good in theory, but the ones that move people, change lives, and fuel performance. The fastest growing businesses aren't the ones with the flashiest marketing or the fanciest tech. They're the ones with the clearest benefits. They know what they offer, they know why it matters, and they make sure everyone else knows too. They build with clarity, they lead with clarity, they scale with clarity, because clarity creates speed, and speed, when rooted in purpose, becomes unstoppable momentum. So, if you want your business to grow, if you want your team to thrive, if you want your vision to become reality, don't start with more effort. Start with more clarity. Define the benefits that matter most. Speak them, share them, and let them drive every decision you make. The speed you want is on the other side of that clarity. It always has been. Business benefits are not luck. They are the result of consistent alignment. Too many leaders chalk up success to timing, to the right connections, or to market trends. But the truth is, sustainable business benefits, growth, profitability, retention, brand loyalty, are built deliberately. They are not coincidences. They are the result of aligning every layer of your organization with your core values, your strategic goals, and your defined customer outcomes. When everything in your business is aligned, the benefits show up in every part of your operation. They're visible in your metrics, your momentum, and your morale. Alignment means that your vision is connected to your execution. It means your strategy isn't sitting in a slide deck, but is driving the daily decisions of your leadership team. Alignment is when your team knows not just what they're doing, but why they're doing it. It's when your product roadmap reflects your customer promise. It's when your financial decisions support long-term sustainability, not just short-term wins. It's not glamorous work, it's intentional work. And over time, this kind of work is what generates the benefits that leaders crave. Every time you see a business that's growing with purpose, a business that seems to have clarity, energy, and results all at once, don't think they got lucky. Look deeper and you'll find a business that has done the work to align its people, systems, and values. You'll find leaders who communicate relentlessly, who aren't afraid to correct misalignments quickly, who don't tolerate silos or ambiguity. You'll find decision making that's anchored to priorities, not preferences. That's how real benefits are created. Let's talk about what happens when a business is not aligned. The sales team is selling one thing, but the operations team is delivering another. The marketing team is promoting a vision the product can't support. The leadership says culture matters, but rewards toxic performance. In that environment, benefits become accidental and temporary. Maybe you land a big client, but you lose them because expectations weren't aligned. Maybe you hit a revenue target, but burn out your team in the process. That's not sustainable. That's not strategic. That's not success, because benefits earned through misalignment will never last. Now compare that to a business where every department is rowing in the same direction. Sales sets honest expectations because they understand the delivery capacity. Marketing positions the brand authentically because they are aligned with product development. HR hires based on culture, fit, and strategic skill sets because they're aligned with the company's long-term mission. In that business, the benefits compound, clients stay, employees thrive, leaders grow, because everything in the ecosystem is reinforcing the same purpose. Alignment isn't a one-time conversation, it's a constant commitment. It requires regular check-ins, honest conversations, and clear communication. Leaders have to be bold enough to say, "This isn't aligned," even when it's uncomfortable. They have to be brave enough to reset, reclarify, and recommunicate. Because every time alignment is lost, the cost is not just time, it's trust. Misalignment slows down execution, erodes credibility, and eventually diminishes impact. If you want consistent benefits, start with consistent messaging. Make sure your team knows exactly what matters and why. Don't just tell them what to do, show them how their role connects to the greater purpose. When your team sees how their daily actions drive long-term benefits, they work differently. They make decisions faster, they take ownership more confidently, and they collaborate more effectively. That level of buy-in doesn't happen because of luck. It happens because of alignment, and alignment isn't just internal. It shows up in how you serve your customers. When your customer experience is aligned with your brand promise, people trust you. They return, they refer. But when your messaging says one thing and your delivery says another, people lose confidence. That gap between what's promised and what's delivered is where most businesses lose the benefits they've worked hard to create. Alignment closes that gap. It ensures that the experience matches the expectation every single time. The businesses that win long-term are not the ones with the most hype, or the biggest budgets, or the flashiest branding. They are the ones who consistently align. They align their hiring with their values. They align their decisions with their vision. They align their investments with their priorities, and they do it repeatedly. Over time, that alignment creates momentum, and that momentum generates benefits that are stable, scalable, and sustainable. So if you want to create business benefits that last, don't wait for luck. Don't hope the market shifts in your favor. Focus on alignment. Look at every part of your business and ask, is this aligned with where we're going? If the answer is no, fix it. If the answer is yes, reinforce it, because benefits are not magic. They are not surprises. They are earned through the discipline of alignment, the courage to course, correct, and the commitment to consistency. That's where the real success lies, and that's how you build a business that benefits everyone it touches. Empowered teams drive profitability and retention. That's not a motivational phrase, it's a business strategy. Companies often pour resources into marketing, branding, and lead generation. And while those things matter, the truth is that the real engine of profitability isn't your product or your platform, it's your people. A team that is empowered, truly empowered, can outperform any ad campaign, any new feature launch, any temporary spike in the market. When people are trusted, trained, and equipped to do their jobs with clarity and ownership, they become the heartbeat of the business. And when that heartbeat is strong, results follow. Empowerment doesn't mean freedom without boundaries. It means people have the structure and support they need to succeed without being micromanaged. It means every team member knows their role, understands the outcomes they're responsible for, and has the tools to deliver those outcomes with excellence. Empowered employees are not just completing tasks. They're making decisions, solving problems, and pushing the business forward every single day. That kind of contribution doesn't come from pressure. It comes from ownership. Profitability grows when teams operate from a place of confidence and clarity. They don't waste time second guessing themselves or waiting for approval on every move. They aren't afraid to take initiative because they've been given permission to lead in their lanes. That speed, fueled by trust and guided by clear expectations, leads to faster project cycles, better customer service, and stronger innovation. All of that translates into dollars. A team that's empowered to act can identify revenue opportunities, fix inefficiencies, and create value in ways no top-down structure ever could. But the benefits of empowerment go beyond revenue. It's also one of the most powerful drivers of retention. In today's job market, people aren't just looking for a paycheck. They're looking for purpose, autonomy, and growth. If your team doesn't feel empowered, they'll disengage, and disengaged employees don't stay. They either leave or worse, they stay and contribute the bare minimum. On the other hand, when people feel trusted, when they feel like their voice matters and their work is connected to something bigger, they become invested. They give more, they stay longer, and they help attract other top performers who want to be part of a culture where empowerment is real. That kind of culture doesn't happen by accident. It requires intentional leadership. Leaders must communicate openly and often. They must set clear expectations, then step back and let their people lead. They must coach, not control. And they must be willing to develop their team members, even if it means those people eventually grow into roles bigger than the ones they started in. That's the difference between a manager who holds power and a leader who shares it. One hoards control, the other multiplies impact. And that multiplication is where profitability explodes. Let's be clear, empowerment is not about letting go of accountability. In fact, the most empowered teams are often the most accountable. Because when people are trusted with responsibility, they rise to it. They take ownership not just of their wins, but of their mistakes. They don't hide problems, they solve them. They don't wait for someone to tell them what to do. They ask, what does the business need, and then act accordingly. That mindset is rare in environments where people are constantly second, guessed or ignored, but it's common in companies where empowerment is part of the DNA. And here's the surprising part. When you empower your team, you as the leader are also freed. You stop carrying the weight of every decision, you stop bottlenecking progress, you become a strategic thinker instead of a constant firefighter. Your energy shifts from managing people to multiplying outcomes. That shift is critical if you want to scale. You can't grow a business where every decision depends on one person, but you can scale a business where empowered people are trusted to lead. The data supports this too. Studies consistently show that organizations with high employee engagement, driven by empowerment, are more profitable, more resilient during downturns, and more innovative over time. Empowerment creates emotional connection, and emotional connection drives discretionary effort. That's the effort people give not because they have to, but because they want to. And that effort is what creates stand-out customer experiences, operational excellence, and ultimately, competitive advantage. When you look at the most successful companies across industries, one common thread appears. They don't just hire talent, they activate it. They don't just build teams, they build leadership at every level. They invest in training, in feedback, in growth pathways. Not because it looks good, but because it works. Empowered people take ownership of outcomes. Empowered people stay. Empowered people win. So if you're trying to drive profitability, if you're struggling with retention, if you're tired of chasing performance with pressure and fear, shift your focus, empower your team, trust your people, build systems that support autonomy instead of dependency. Because the fastest way to grow a business is to grow your people. Empowerment is not just a feel-good buzzword, it's a profit strategy, it's a retention strategy, it's a leadership strategy, and it works. Every time, customer value equals long-term business value. It's not a marketing strategy or a sales gimmick, It's a foundational truth that determines the sustainability of any business. If you build a company that focuses solely on short-term wins, fast conversions, and temporary profit spikes, you might grow quickly, but it will never last. Real growth comes when you shift your thinking from transactions to transformation. From how do we sell more to how do we serve better? Because when your customer genuinely wins, your business wins too. And not just today, but long into the future. Every business starts with a product or service, but the best businesses evolve beyond that. They stop seeing what they offer as a commodity and start seeing it as a solution. A solution to someone's frustration, their confusion, their fear, their lack of direction, their inefficiencies, or their missed potential. And when you become obsessed with the value you bring into your customer's world, you unlock something that marketing alone can't bite: trust. And trust is what keeps people coming back. Trust is what turns customers into brand advocates. Trust is what creates business value that compounds over time. It's easy to focus on your own goals, revenue targets, quarterly metrics, expansion plans, but if those goals aren't rooted in providing real customer value, then you're building on sand. Because customers today are more informed, more connected, and more empowered than ever before. They don't just want to buy, they want to believe. They want to believe that your product will actually make a difference, that your service is worth their time, that your brand stands for something beyond profits. When they feel that belief, they buy more than once. They stay longer, they talk about you to others. That's where long-term value is created. Too many businesses underestimate the power of over-delivering on customer expectations. They do just enough to complete the sale and move on. But the real value is in what happens after the purchase. Do you follow up? Do you listen? Do you solve problems with urgency? Do you make it easy to get support? These are the moments that define whether a customer sees you as transactional or transformational. And transformational brands always win. Because while anyone can acquire customers, not everyone can keep them. And it's customer retention, not just acquisition, that builds sustainable value. Think about this. The lifetime value of a customer doesn't just include what they spend with you. It includes the referrals they give, the content they create, the reviews they leave, the credibility they add to your brand. A happy customer isn't just worth more in dollars, they're worth more in influence. They're your most powerful marketing asset, and all of that starts with how much value you create for them. It's not about being the cheapest, it's about being the most meaningful. It's about being unforgettable in a sea of average. This also means that every department, not just customer service, must be focused on customer value. Your product team must think about ease of use and relevance. Your sales team must prioritize honesty over hype. Your operations team must ensure smooth delivery and reliable systems. Your leadership must create a culture where customer obsession is the standard. Because customer value is not just a job for one role, it's the responsibility of the entire organization. When value becomes your collective mindset, excellence becomes your reputation, and here's where it gets even more powerful. When you focus on creating value, your team culture improves too. People love working for companies that stand for something, that make a real difference in people's lives. When employees see the impact they're having on real customers, they become more engaged, more invested, and more inspired. They go beyond the task list. They care, they create, they contribute ideas because they know their work matters. That internal culture of purpose is a direct result of an external focus on customer value. The two feed each other. In times of uncertainty, economic downturns, industry shifts, market saturation, it's the companies with strong customer relationships that survive. Not the ones with the biggest budgets or flashiest branding, but the ones whose customers need them, trust them, and choose them again and again. And that kind of loyalty is only earned through value. Not volume, not visibility, value. You cannot fake customer value. You either create it or you don't, and your business results will always reflect that. Every complaint is a clue, every return is a signal. Every 5-star review is feedback. The data tells the truth. If customers are coming back, if they're spending more, if they're referring others, that's proof that value is being delivered. And if they're not, it's time to stop blaming external conditions and start asking deeper questions. Where are we falling short? Where can we deliver more? What would make this experience unforgettable? When you get obsessed with customer value, you don't have to chase growth. It finds you, because people don't just want to buy products. They want to buy progress. They want to know they made a smart decision. They want to feel something. Relief, joy, confidence, clarity. If you can give them that, they'll give you loyalty, and loyalty is the foundation of all long-term business value. So don't settle for making sales. Aim to make a difference. Focus on making your customers feel seen, understood, and supported. The benefits won't be instant, but they will be lasting, and in business, lasting is everything. Benefits multiply when systems and people are in sync. This is one of the most overlooked realities in business. Leaders often focus either on optimizing systems, technology, processes, automation, or on building people, hiring, training, culture. But very few understand that the real power lies in the intersection. It's not systems alone or people alone that drive results. It's the synchronization of both. When your systems are designed to support your people, and your people are trained to maximize your systems, you create flow. In flow is where benefits, like productivity, profitability, innovation, and engagement, don't just appear, they multiply. Let's start with the obvious. No amount of systems can compensate for disengaged or misaligned people. You can automate everything under the sun, but if your team doesn't understand how to use the tools, doesn't believe in the mission, or isn't clear on priorities, then your systems will collect dust. They'll become roadblocks instead of accelerators. On the other hand, highly motivated people with no systems waste time reinventing the wheel every day. They burn out doing work that a well-placed process or platform could handle more efficiently. When systems and people are disconnected, chaos follows, but when they are in sync, you unlock compound benefits at every level of the organization. It starts with intention. Leaders must design systems not for control, but for clarity. Systems are not there to restrict creativity or to monitor every move. They are there to create consistency, reduce decision fatigue, and remove unnecessary friction. When your processes are aligned with your business goals and clearly communicated to your team, they become the backbone of scale. They ensure that excellence isn't dependent on individual heroics. Instead, excellence becomes repeatable. That's when your business shifts from hustle to harmony. But even the best system will fail if the people using it don't feel empowered. That's why system adoption is not just a tech issue, it's a leadership issue. You can't just roll out new tools and expect magic. You have to bring your people into the process, show them the why, and not just the what. Explain how this system supports their success, reduces their pain points, and amplifies their impact. When people understand how a system makes their job easier or their results stronger, they lean in. That's the difference between forced compliance and willing engagement. When systems and people are aligned, meetings become more efficient because everyone is working from the same data. Projects move faster because roles and responsibilities are clearly defined. Training becomes smoother because there's a documented way of doing things. New hires ramp up quicker. Managers coach better. Leaders forecast more accurately. Every benefit of your business, internal or external, gains momentum because the foundation is strong and unified. The confusion disappears, the guesswork stops, and in that clarity, results scale. Culture is also impacted in powerful ways when people and systems are in sync. Teams that operate in chaotic environments, where systems are outdated, broken, or ignored, often feel frustrated. Morale drops, turnover rises, high performers leave not because they can't handle pressure, but because they are tired of inefficiency. But when systems support high performance, people stay longer and perform better. They experience less stress. They collaborate more fluidly. They trust leadership because leadership has invested in tools and processes that actually support success instead of stifling it. That's what makes a strong culture not just possible, but durable. One of the most strategic moves a leader can make is to audit both systems and people together. Ask yourself, are our systems helping our people succeed, or are they slowing them down? Are our people trained and motivated to use the systems the way they're intended? Are we making decisions with the input of those who actually use the tools every day? Too often, systems are implemented in isolation by executives who are disconnected from daily execution, and people are expected to adapt even when the system doesn't match the real-world needs of their role. This disconnect creates resistance, confusion, and inefficiency. But when systems are built in collaboration with the people they're meant to serve, something powerful happens. Adoption increases, performance improves, ownership grows, benefits multiply not just because you're doing more work, but because you're doing the right work more consistently. Systems eliminate redundancy, people bring creativity, systems ensure quality. People bring context, systems scale tasks, people scale trust. When you get that combination right, you don't just grow, you evolve. You create a business that's agile, resilient, and ready to take on bigger challenges without collapsing under the weight of disorganization. Leaders who understand this principle invest differently. They don't just buy software, they invest in training, they don't just create SOPs. They ask for feedback from the team. They don't just expect compliance. They inspire collaboration. And as a result, their businesses don't just benefit in the short term. They build long-term infrastructure for consistent, scalable growth. Ultimately, the most successful companies don't treat systems and people as separate strategies. They treat them as partners because systems without people are cold. People without systems are chaotic. But together, they create capacity, they create speed, they create freedom, and that's where your benefits don't just add up, they multiply. Every hour saved becomes an hour earned. Every dollar optimized becomes fuel for growth. Every satisfied team member becomes a magnet for talent. That's the compound effect of getting this right. And that's how high-performance businesses are built, through intentional alignment of systems and people. Every single time,